This is Talk of the Town, a weekly program featuring community events happening in and around Northeast Michigan, with your host, Nancy Smitham, and get the latest from Alpena Community College with Dr. Don McMaster. And now, today's Talk of the Town.
Good morning and welcome to Talk of the Town. I'm Nancy Smitham. My first guest today is Jim Clerics from Target Alpena. Hi, Jim.
Hi, Nancy. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. We're talking about so much stuff. I don't know where to start because what an exciting 3-4 years that we've had in our community. And people think, you know, there's nothing going on in this community. Boy, they need to pay attention.
They sure do. Yep, they sure do. There's been a lot going on in the community, probably starting going back to late 2011 and 12. Through today, we've made enormous strides in improving the economy and community development here in Alpena.
And tell me about Target Alpena. What do you do there?
Sure. I'm the Director of Economic Development, and Target Alpena is actually the economic development arm of the Alpena Area Chamber of Commerce. And you know, our organization is primary mission is wrapped around 4 things, and that's to grow our industrial presence, grow our commercial presence, support our small businesses and people who want to launch new businesses, and support our tourism industry.
And you know, you started talking a little bit earlier too about the housing in our community, you know, and that's so tied into every one of those goals that you have.
It is. I mean, everything, it's funny when you get into it, everything is linked together. From a housing standpoint, we've set records for the past couple of years on housing sales and that kind of thing, like we discussed, you know, before the show. We have tremendous amount of needs for attached housing or apartments. We have needs for condominiums, for secondary residents. We have a lot of needs in those areas that we're working to fill.
And you know, everything is so beautiful here. We're on the lake, we have the rivers, we have, you know, the good economy, we have the low crime rate, we have, you know, a viable downtown, we have good shopping, we have everything. We have art in the loft, and we have Thunder Bay Theater, Alpena Civic Theater. We have so many wonderful things, but if we can't get all that housing together so people can come and live here and enjoy those things, we're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, well, it'll slow us down for sure. You know, there's I'm sure that there's segments of our population that, you know, are looking, whether that's from a retiree standpoint, they really don't want to own a home anymore, and maybe they're spending a part of the year in Florida or some other destination, but they still want to be a part of the community. We have to be able to service them, and whether that's through apartments or condominiums or that kind of thing, we need to have the ability to do that. And then for the younger folks, we need to, you know, develop additional housing downtown, which they, you know, a lot of the younger people really want to be downtown. We have to develop more of that, whether that's in a single building or that's more loft-style apartments. You know, we're involved in all of that and trying to create more of that.
And you had talked about being at a conference on the west side of the state. Tell us about that.
Sure. So I get to attend a lot of different conferences, and some of them I present at, some of them I you know, just participate in. And one of them was held last fall, and they described a community, or Millennial Park was what it was in Chicago, and they said, hey, it has artwork, it has, you know, bike paths, it has splash parks, it has a lot of different amenities packed into a pretty small area. And they asked, you know, does your community have all of these things? And there was probably about 25 or 30 of us in that room. I was the only one that raised my hand and said, we have all of that.
Awesome.
It is awesome.
And another thing too is our economy here is not a seasonal economy any longer.
No, it's we go year-round. We're not like a lot of other communities in northern Michigan. We churn year-round. You don't see hotels closing down for the winter. You don't see stores closing down for the winter. It's very vibrant, and when you really track our economy, and you can, there's tools to do that online. Right. Where you can set up and look at a graph, you really see a tightening of the gaps in our economy to where it's almost becoming not a lot of this, but a straight line, which is a very good sign for us.
And our unemployment rate is very good also.
It is. So back in 2012, about this time, 2012, our unemployment rate was around 13.5%, approximately. Last month, no, I'll say the last reported month in November, that number was 3.9. And the last time we were at 3.9 was around the year 2000. so about 19 years ago now. And I looked back and said, when was the last time it was below that? It was actually, I think in '99, it was 3.8. So that's a huge improvement. And when you look at it and say, what does that really mean? That means we're employing a tremendous amount of people, not only in Alpena County, but in our surrounding counties. Our trade area is growing. But it really, when you look at it, you say that could be upwards of probably 750 newly employed people over the last several years in Alpena County alone.
And you know, a community can't have all minimum wage part-time jobs. You can't have all retail. You have to have a mix of manufacturing and retail and healthcare and the jobs that bring in more higher wages too. So how do you think our mix is, and you think it's going to be getting better, or
it is? I think it's really good. We're very balanced here.
Okay.
I mean, you know, where you look at a lot of communities, they're really tourism oriented, you know, and they're saying, hey, we're really good for 3 or 4 months out of the year, and the rest of the year is pretty flatline and stuff here. But when we have we're probably the largest industrial presence Alpena is north of Saginaw, when you think about it. When you look at, you take that into account and you say, hey, we've got that, we've got a good tourism industry, we've got excellent healthcare facilities from a regional standpoint, we're a regional airport or air service here. We've got a great balance from an economic standpoint.
You know, so there's a mom and pop business out there, they've always wanted to get started and they don't know what to do. How can you help? Well,
if they want to start a business and they have a vision, from that small business support structure we have an excellent relationship with the Small Business Development Center, the SBDC we call it, and we have a local gentleman, Carl Bordelais, who does a lot of that startup work for us. So he'll sit down with that, with whoever that interested party is. He'll help them work through their business plan, including forecasts, financial needs, all of that kind of stuff. He'll put all of that together and help them and put that together in a full-fledged business plan to where you could walk it into any financial institution and they would understand the story you're telling them, understand what your needs are from a capital perspective. And then also our organization has 2 small business loan portfolios to where we can make up the gap. So for instance, if somebody walked in and said, hey, I need a $100,000 loan to start this business, and a bank or a credit union saying, well, we're only you know, willing to give you 75 based on whatever that those needs are or criteria is, we would typically jump in with that gap and fill that gap and say, okay, you know, we could $25,000 will be a secondary loan on that to get it going. So we're very robust in that area. We are probably across all of our region, including the Upper Peninsula. We finish in the top 3 metrics for new business starts every year. We launch about, on average, 10 new businesses a year, and with about 1.5 million in capital formation a year. So we're very good at it.
Sounds like it. So how do people get a hold of you, Jim?
They can reach me at the Alpena Area Chamber of Commerce office. That number, if they wanted to call or something like that, is 354-4181. And that, or reach me by email there, or look it up on the website, and they can reach me that way.
Okay. Thank you so much for being here. We're out of time and look forward to talking to you again a little later in the year and see how things are going.
Me too. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Please stay tuned. I'll be right back with some information on Art in the Loft following these messages. Hi, welcome back. I'm with Justin Christensen Cooper from Art in the Loft. Hi, Justin.
Hey, Nancy. How are you? Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for being here. Last time you were here, the mural had fallen down off the wall.
Yeah, we were talking about that.
And you're getting ready for your big fundraiser.
Right. We were also talking about that. And so it's been a whirlwind of activity. You got it.
and like our last guest, there's so much to talk about that we better get started.
Well, I think we better. Let's jump into it.
So start me out.
Okay. So I think the big thing, I'll just jump off where we left last time I was here.
Yep.
We were talking about our upcoming annual fundraiser. And that, this past November, we held that, and we had over 100 guests at our fundraiser. Yay. We had over 6 local chefs providing appetizers that whole night, and there was a little cook-off between those chefs. But the most important part is that we were there to celebrate our community, celebrate art, and to raise money to give back to our community. And then through that, we were able to raise over $8,000 specifically for a scholarship program, which will allow our community members to take any of our over 100 offerings we're going to have in 2019 at no cost to them.
Terrific.
Because there's always a cost with any workshop that we
Sure.
do, whether it's in our kitchen, in the culinary, in our visual arts classroom, and we're talking from ages 5 to 105 to take these classes, and we want to be able to offer those to our community members that need them most, and maybe just don't have the means to do so.
Congratulations. That's
Yeah,
wonderful.
so that's really exciting. Yeah, we're really excited to build that up.
And the mural's going back up on the wall?
Murals are going back up, so I don't know if you've driven by yet, but the panels are back up. It's a two-step process. It's different, it's new, it's exciting to have the energy behind that again. But then we're going to be looking at a probably spring, depending on weather. You know, we get snow in April here,
Sure.
so we never know. But our artist, Tony Hendrick, who's from Grand Ledge, is working diligently in the winter months to finish the three-dimensional fish. And keep in mind, those three-dimensional fish were hand-selected by community members that drew them and created them.
Yes.
And now we're in the process of wanting to get those community members back into the loft to help paint them.
Ooh.
And so in March, we're going to have a series of 2 fish painting workshops because they get to lend their paintbrush onto the fish. And we have a really exciting program. We're going to be doing a Fish on the Run, traveling fish painting workshops, where we're going to take at least 5 fish to area schools outside of our area of Alpena. So we're thinking like Hillman, Elkona, Rogers City, Posen, those areas. So they get a stamp on the mural as well. So.
Yay.
Yeah.
Now you have some phenomenal numbers to tell us about
Yeah.
things that happened last year.
Yeah, you got it. It was kind of a banner year in some of these respects as far as what programming was, visitors through the door. I mean, we had over, just people wanting to see artwork, we had over 8,000 people come through the doors that, you know, they got to take the elevator to the 3rd
Yes,
floor.
they
So
do.
that's fun. But then as far as our programming goes, we had over 400 students come through our doors for Ready, Set, Create. Where they get 4 weeks of free arts instruction, and that's help funded by the Alpena County Youth and Recreation Millage Grant,
Okay.
so we're extremely thankful for that. We had over 60 students with special needs come through for the REACH program and learn life skills of cooking and reading recipes and shopping and doing that all on a budget, again, free to them, through our donors and sponsors and individual members. And then a big number, which is great too, we were able to pay out local artists over $47,000
Wow.
back into their pocket for the craft that they do, either through the sale of artwork, situations related with the mural, all those types of things we're able to give back into our economy and make our economy grow through the arts. What better way to really spread that around and then give it back to those who need it most. So.
And what I love about Art in the Loft, one of the things, is that you lend your facility to the community for fundraisers. There's always something going on there.
Yeah. So we are host now to about 2 annual, excuse me, Thunder Bay Arts Council concerts. We had a Habitat for Humanity fundraiser up there, but we also do a lot of private events too. We own some great space. It's beautiful, overlooks Lake
is.
Huron on the 3rd floor, has a lot of charm, being a historic building, the center building is. And so we did about 10 weddings this year too. So
Wow.
again, those are all reasons for people to come to Alpena and really want to dive into what we have as far as amenities, and what better way to do it than that.
So what exciting things will be happening this year?
Yeah, so the mural is the big thing.
Yes.
That's going to be in the spring. We're really excited about getting that going, but our workshops are off to a wonderful start. Like I said, we have over 100 individual classes to choose from upcoming this year. And we break it down, so we do it quarterly. So our schedule is out there now on our website, artintheloft.org,
Okay.
so people can check that out. But we also are looking at the expansion of our REACH program. We are now including Pied Piper School, where we're going to have those students come and cook in our kitchen and help create meals, and they can take that skill back to their house and do it.
Perfect.
And then Ready, Set, Create's going to continue, and we're just really excited to build our artists and get our artists promoted as well. So
And you always have a need for volunteers?
always, you got it. In fact, we're doing a mailing this Friday where we
Okay.
always, people need to stuff envelopes or help with classes. Ready, Set, Create, REACH, always need an extra hand in the kitchen or the classroom, or even just to come in the gallery and help greet people too. We're always looking for that.
Right,
So.
and if you're looking for the one-of-a-kind unique gift, that's the place to
It's the
shop.
place to go. You got it. Birthday, Christmas. I already know it's already passed, but it's not too early to start shopping.
No,
So-
and so what are your hours for people to come up?
Yeah, you got it. So in our winter months, we are closed Sundays now, but
Okay.
it's Tuesday through Saturday,
Okay.
11 a.m. to 6 p.m. We'll have one of our amazing associates up there greet you as you walk in, and just to take in the space. We always have hot coffee ready to go, so people can come up, grab a cup of coffee, and look around, or have lunch up there. We have tables for seating, all that type of thing. So.
And the best way to find out about all the over 100 events would be to look at the website?
You got it, artintheloft.org. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, join our mailing list. You can do that through the website too and be a part of that. So
Okay, and a phone number?
356-4877.
Thank you so much for
Thanks,
being
Nancy.
here, and congratulations to you and all of your volunteers for making that such a wonderful place in our community. And as
thank
we
you.
talked with Jim from the Target Alpena, you know,
Right.
an important thing, art brings people to the community.
It does, yeah, and it's a true economy builder, and we were happy to be a part of that, so
Thank you again,
Yeah.
and Happy New Year.
you too.
Please stay tuned for Dr. Don McMaster following these messages.
Greetings, everyone. Welcome to Talk of the Town. I'm Dr. Don McMaster. I'm president of Alpena Community College, and I'm pleased to have as our guest this morning Melissa Fournier, Director of Nursing at ACC. Welcome, Melissa. Thank you
Glad
for
to be
coming. Well, we were at Startup this week, and that's an exciting time. Staff and faculty back, and students back next week. And you were sharing a really neat detail about the nursing program. Could you share that with
Absolutely.
the viewers?
We have been fortunate enough to expand the nursing program to accept 24 LPN and RN students for the year of 2019, and that's been considered a minor program change, and we'll be going for a major program change, which will be a permanent expansion to those numbers over the course of this year, so that we'll be able to stay at an increase of 16 for the overall program.
Wonderful. I mean, that's significant. Just so folks know, prior to this approval, we would admit 20 in LPN twice a year,
That's correct.
fall and spring semester, and 20 in RN twice a year. So
Yes.
our capacity at that time was 80, and now would be 96.
Correct.
Wonderful. 96 nursing students. Well, explain from your standpoint the significance of that and what it means for the program going forward.
When I took over the directorship of the program 5 years ago, we were at 64 students annually. So this has been a big advancement for us. And we're utilizing the virtual classroom technology. We're able to now beam classes to the Oscoda campus, and we've been able to successfully launch an LPN program down there. We'll be starting our second semester, so we'll have 2 cohorts on that campus. And being able to meet the needs of the community. We've had advanced numbers for seats that we've had, and so now we can meet those needs, meet the needs of our partners, our clinical partners, including Mid-Michigan Alpena, Medalodges. We've expanded our clinical offerings. We now have a contract with Rogers City Medalodge. We're doing clinicals in Tawas Medalodge, and we're looking forward to going to Mid-Michigan West Branch this year.
Wonderful. Well, that's great. I mean, the use of technology to extend the what we do on main campus to Oscoda campus is significant. I was down there yesterday speaking to Iosco County people, and they're very, very excited about being able to get an LPN on the Oscoda campus. We're excited about it too, and it creates a lot of prerequisite activity. I think folks may not realize how rigorous nursing is, even at the LPN level.
Absolutely. Our prerequisites include English, biology, physiology, microbiology, anatomy, chemistry, and then our dosage calculations class. And that's all before they apply to the program.
And they need to get a 3-point?
At least a
Yes.
3.0 average, but they need to at least pass every class with a C.
Yeah, very good. And now that we're talking about academic standards, your NCLEX scores were quite impressive over the most recent testing.
Absolutely. We are very proud to represent that we have a 100% pass rate in our LPN program and have for approximately 6 years. And for the last 2 years, we've had a 100% RN pass rate.
And what is NCLEX?
The NCLEX is the testing standard for licensure. It is the national test that everyone takes to become either a licensed practical nurse or a registered nurse.
And it's administered across the nation, a
Yes, it is.
standardized test. What does a person have to score to pass?
Well, it's computerized adaptive testing, and so they set a benchmark for what is considered a passing level, and they assess they offer one question, and then whether the student gets it right or wrong depends on the degree of severity of the next question.
Oh, yeah.
So as long as they're above what they would consider the minimum standard, then they pass the NCLEX. So our students usually represent that they've had very challenging questions, but that's because they're at the highest level.
Yeah, well, 100%, you can't do much better than that. And this was the first time they took it, not
Yes.
multiple times.
Yes, we're always measured against the first time that the students take the exam.
Well, I hear out in the community, and I think it's true, the regard that people have for the graduates of ACC's nursing program, and it's very important. I mean, if you're ill, you want somebody who's capable working with you and on you. And so much kudos to your staff.
Absolutely. The credit goes to my faculty. They are superior and are truly dedicated to the students. They offer extra time. They're there in their office hours. They support study groups. They want them all to be successful.
Yes, I can see that. And we have about a minute left, and so of course the big thing we've got going on is the Healthy Future Start Here campaign, and which is a renovation of Van Laer Hall and the movement of the nursing program to the Van Laer Hall wing extending toward Besser Company, and with an upgrade of technology and space. And these, so speak to the viewers about what that means to you as the leader of that
This
program.
is incredibly exciting for us because we right now have an 8-bed lab, and this will expand us into an advanced lab and a basic lab. And the basic lab will be able to be divided so that I can run multiple classes at the same time, which is something that we've wanted to do for a long time. The advanced lab will have 2 med-surg bays that can run megacodes. We'll have a double-bed OB suite, and we'll also have a home suite with the possibility of expanding our program offerings in the future. And we will have advanced high-fidelity simulators, which will allow the students to practice virtually and have patients that speak to them. And they can see what interventions they perform and the effect that that has on a patient in a simulation base.
That sounds pretty exciting stuff and pretty high tech. Many community colleges offer nursing degrees, not all LPN, but many RN, some LPN, RN, same as us. So for us to stay competitive with them, the technology upgrade is significant.
Very much so.
So Melissa, thank you so much for what you do and what your staff does and in support of healthcare in Alpena and the surrounding regions. And thank you folks for watching Talk of the Town. We'll see you again next week.
This has been Talk of the Town with your host, Nancy Smitham and Dr. Don McMaster. For a list of community events taking place in Northeast Michigan, please visit our website at WBKB11.com and click on our community link. This has been a Thunder Bay Broadcasting Corporation production.